right, welcome back to the Sports Breakdown. Today we are diving deep into some football transfer rumors. The January transfer window is closing soon, and we got some articles to break down. We got Give Me a Sport, we got Sport Witness, and we got a little something else that caught our eye. It's about a player, some juicy rumors, and like a lot of drama.
Oh, sounds intriguing.
Yeah. So the rumor mill is churning about a potential Premier League return for Marcus Edwards. You remember him, right? He came up through Tottenham's academy, was even dubbed the next Messi at one point. And he's currently playing for Sporting CP in Portugal.
Yeah, Edwards' career has been like a bit of a roller coaster, huh? From wonder kid to kind of forgotten and now potentially back in the spotlight. I'm curious, is he really Premier League material or is this all just transfer window hype?
Well, Give Me Sport paints a pretty interesting picture of his current situation at Sporting. And it's not exactly a pretty picture. It seems like he's fallen out of favor with the new manager over there, hasn't played a match since November, and his value has taken a major hit.
Oh, that's never a good sign. A player's value doesn't just plummet without a reason. There's definitely more to this story than meets the eye. Give Me Sport mentions disciplinary issues, which makes you wonder what really went down behind the scenes. Was it a clash of personalities? A disagreement over tactics? It seems like we're missing a crucial piece of the puzzle here.
Yeah. And this is where Sport Witness drops the bombshell. Tottenham has a 35% sell-on clause for Edwards. So even though they let him go a few years ago, they could actually profit if Sporting decides to sell him now.
Exactly, and that adds a whole new layer of intrigue to this situation. It's not just about Edwards' future, it's also about the potential financial windfall for Tottenham. Imagine it like baking a cake. Tottenham provided the key ingredient, Edwards, and now they get a slice of the profits even though someone else bakes the cake. Sporting.
Okay, that's a great analogy. It definitely helps to understand how these sell-on clauses work.
Yeah.
So how much are we talking about here? Give Me Sport mentions Edwards' value has dropped to around 8 million euros.
All right, let's do the math. If Sporting sells him for that price, Tottenham would be looking at a cool 2.8 million euros coming their way. Not bad for a player they let walk away.
Not bad at all. And speaking of walking away, Sporting seems pretty eager to do just that with Edwards. But who's interested in bringing him back to the Premier League?
Well, both Give Me Sport and Sport Witness point to Crystal Palace as a potential suitor. But there seems to be some disagreement about the specifics of the deal. Give Me Sport suggests Palace is keen on a loan deal with no option to buy, which would give them a chance to evaluate Edwards without a major financial commitment.
That seems like a smart move, especially considering his recent struggles. But would Sporting even be interested in a loan deal at this point?
Probably not. Sport Witness suggests they'd much rather sell him outright and get him off their books. And let's not forget, Palace's manager, Oliver Glasner, have a reputation for developing young talent.
Yeah, he might see Edwards as a diamond in the rough, someone he can mold into a Premier League star. But if he shines for Palace, they risk losing him at the end of the season with no way to recoup their investment.
So it's a gamble for Palace either way. Loan him and potentially miss out on a permanent deal, or buy him outright and risk him not living up to the hype.
Tough choices. And to add even more fuel to the fire, there's that intriguing little snippet we mentioned earlier. The one claiming Edwards has racked up an impressive 24 goals and 26 assists for Sporting.
Hold on a second. Those stats seem almost too good to be true, especially given everything else we've learned about his current situation. Is he really that prolific, or is there something we're missing here? Well, that's the million-euro question, isn't it? It's crucial to remember that stats can be deceiving without proper context. Remember when people thought Tottenham's Dele Alli was the next big thing based purely on goals? Didn't quite pan out that way, did it?
Good point. A few standout performances don't always tell the whole story. We need to dig deeper and see if these numbers hold up under scrutiny.
Exactly. So let's play detective for a moment. First, we need to consider the quality of opposition. Was he scoring those goals against top-tier teams or lower league competition? Were those assists game-changing plays or simple passes that led to goals?
Okay, so we can't just take those numbers at face value. We need to look at the bigger picture.
Right. And if we're going to be thorough, we also need to factor in his recent form, which hasn't been great. Remember, he's only managed 3 goals in 10 appearances this season, and he hasn't seen any game time since November.
So those impressive stats might be a bit inflated. It's possible they include goals from cup competitions, friendlies, maybe even youth matches early in his career.
Exactly. And this brings us back to the key question. What's the real story here? Is Edwards a talented player who just needs the right environment to thrive? Or has he lost his edge and become a liability?
It's a tough call. And this is where the managerial perspective becomes so fascinating. Oliver Glasner has a track record of nurturing young players, and he might see something in Edwards that others have missed. He could be the key to unlocking his potential, or this could be another case of a promising talent falling through the cracks.
It's a high-stakes gamble either way. And let's not forget the financial implications for Tottenham. That 35% sell-on clause could give them a significant boost in their transfer budget if Edwards is sold.
Yeah, it almost feels like they're a silent partner in this whole saga. They let him go, but they could still benefit from his success or lack thereof. It's a reminder that in the world of football, business and sport are often intertwined.
Absolutely, and that's what makes this story so captivating. It's not just about goals and assists. It's about second chances, the pressure to perform, and the complex web of relationships that influence decisions in this high-stakes industry.
So let's bring it back to our listener. Why should they care about this whole Marcus Edwards saga?
Because it's a story that resonates on multiple levels. It's about a young player trying to find his way, a club weighing a risky investment, and a former team watching from the sidelines, hoping for a financial windfall.
Plus, there's that element of mystery and intrigue. What really happened at Sporting? Can Edwards rediscover his form? Will Palace take the gamble? We're all hooked on the drama, waiting to see how this story unfolds.
And that's the beauty of football. It's full of unexpected twists and turns, moments of brilliance, and crushing disappointments. It's a microcosm of life itself, played out on the pitch with passion and intensity.
So let's put ourselves in Oliver Glasner's shoes for a moment. You're the manager of Crystal Palace. You've got this talented but troubled player on your radar, and the clock is ticking on the transfer window.
You need to decide whether to take the risk or play it safe. What would you do?
Would you go all in on Edwards, hoping to unlock his potential and transform him into a star? Or would you look for a safer bet, someone with a more consistent track record?
It's a tough decision, right? I mean, you have to weigh the potential rewards against the risks, factor in the team's needs, financial constraints, and your own gut feeling about the player, right?
Yeah, it's a high-pressure situation for sure. And this is where Glasner's experience and judgment come into play. You know, he's known for his ability to develop young players, but he also needs to consider the bigger picture. Does Edwards fit into his long-term vision for the team? Can he handle the demands of the Premier League?
Yeah. And let's not forget the psychological aspect. Edwards has been through a lot in his career, from the early hype to the recent setbacks. Can he handle the pressure of a high-profile move back to the Premier League?
That's a crucial factor. Some players thrive under pressure while others crumble. It all comes down to mental fortitude, resilience, and the ability to bounce back from adversity. So if he were in Glasner's shoes, what would be the deciding factor? What would tip the scales in favor of taking a gamble on Edwards?
For me, it would come down to a combination of factors. First, I'd need to see evidence of genuine remorse and a willingness to learn from his mistakes. Second, I'd want to assess his physical and mental state. Has he been working hard to stay in shape? Is he hungry to prove himself?
So it's not just about talent, it's about character and attitude as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And finally, I'd need to believe that he fits into the team system and that he's capable of contributing positively to the dressing room atmosphere. You don't want to bring in a player who's going to disrupt the team's chemistry.
Right. It sounds like Glasner has a lot to consider. This isn't just a simple transfer decision. It's a complex equation with multiple variables.
Yeah, it's a reminder that football management is about more than just tactics and formations. It's about understanding people, managing personalities, and making tough choices with incomplete information.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into the Marcus Edwards saga, what's the key takeaway for our listeners?
I think the biggest lesson here is that talent alone isn't enough. Success in football, as in life, requires a combination of talent, hard work, resilience, and a bit of luck.
And sometimes it also requires a manager who's willing to take a chance on a player who might just be a diamond in the rough.
Well said. This transfer window has been full of surprises, and the Marcus Edwards story is just one of many intriguing narratives unfolding. We'll be watching closely to see how it all plays out.
And that's a wrap on this episode of the Sports Breakdown. Thanks for joining us as we tackled this fascinating transfer saga. We hope you enjoyed the insights and analysis. Until next time, keep your eyes on the ball and stay tuned for more deep dives into the world of sports.